creating piecewise graphs with tax tables. This is a tax table for Australia. This is going back to 2008, 2009 financial year. And the way we read a tax table is we check the range of taxable income that our income falls into. So if you earned less than $6,000 in the year, you paid no tax. If you paid between $6,000 and $34,000, you'd do this calculation, 15 cents for every dollar over $6,000. So you'd take your income, say it was $16,000, you'd take away $6,000 because you don't pay tax on that, leaving you $10,000. 15 cents for every one of those $10,000, that's 15% of $10,000. 15 divided by 100 times 10,000, you would pay $1,500 tax. So you don't worry about any row except for the one where your income is, and you do the calculation. The reason these rows start with an amount is that if you're over $34,000, you'd pay this much on your income up to $34,000 and then this much over it. So they've already done all these calculations for you by having this number, so you only have to focus on the row where your income is. Now you can actually make a piecewise graph, that is a graph where the tax rate changes because it goes up for each bracket, to help us visualize our tax or do calculations with it. So our first thing is we're making a piecewise graph. So you need, of course, your grid paper, your tax that you pay depends on your taxable income, so your taxable income will be down the bottom, and the tax you pay will go up here. And so you can see that I'm going to need to get up to at least 60,000 and on the y-axis, and we probably want to go out further than this. So let's go up to like 250,000 or something. It's not as hard as it looks. How much space can we fit in there? Up to about here. All right. So we will graph an income, let's say up to 250,000 or 200,000, something like that. So if each of those are 2,000 times 10, I'll get 20,000. That doesn't work. So each of those would have to be 20,000. So this is in thousands. So we're going up at least to 200,000 there. Good idea to work out, all right, at 200,000, how high does my tax have to be? So let's just do the tax calculation for 200,000. That's 20,000 over this amount. So it'll be 58,000 plus 45% of 20,000. Let's try and find our 48, 45%. 45 divided by 100 times 20,000. I pay 9,000 plus that 58,000. 67,000. So I've got to go up to 67,000 on this. That says probably about 70,000, doesn't it? And I've got a good 7 centimeters there. So let's make this per 10,000. in dollars tax. Now, it might look like you've got to do a bunch of calculations to do this graph, but you don't. From $1 or from 0 up to 6,000, you pay no tax. So of our income, there's 10,000. Let's zoom in a little. There's 10,000, so 6,000 is about here. That's a line of 0. You pay no tax. From 6,000 up to 34,000. 34,000. Now it says, okay, look, you pay 15 cents for each dollar over 6,000, but you don't have to go doing all this calculation, because at 34,000, exactly, you'd pay 4,200 tax. You can check that if you want. 15 cents for each dollar over 6,000. So that would, oh, sorry about my light there. The most you'll pay at 34,000 is this amount here. They've worked it out for you. So we go to 34,000, 34, it's pretty inexact, but we'll do our best, and go straight up to 4,200, which is going to be about there. I know it's not very accurate, but it's the best we can do. And you pop that line in. From there to there. Now we've got to work out the next row, up to 80,000. That is how much you'd pay on 80,000, because they've worked out, if you earn at 80,000, what would you get? It's this much. Anything over 80,000, now we're starting to calculate this extra bit. So at 80,000, I need $18,000 tax. 80, nice and easy one. 18, just below our 20. So we join those 2 points up. See how it's starting to get steeper, showing that as you earn more money, you pay a higher tax rate. The next one, they're saying, okay, up to 180,000, please. If you earned exactly 180,000, it'd be $58,000 tax. So we go to 180, and we want 58,000, which is just below our 60. There we go. Join that line. And we said we'd like to go up to 200,000. And you'll remember I calculated the 200,000 at $67,000 tax. So we'll put that last amount in. And that is a piecewise graph showing the tax rates for 2008 to 2009. So we can use that to answer questions then. Because this, in my question, it says, use your graph to estimate the income tax paid on an income of 120,000. So if we go to 120,000 down here, using your ruler, follow that up until you hit the tax line right there, and exactly on that tax line, head across until we hit the y-axis. I'm going to estimate an income, a tax amount of 34,000. Because we've read that from the table, from the graph. Now that says to calculate the tax paid on that income and see how close you were. So that takes you to the table. 120,000 is in this bracket. So that will be 18,000 plus 40% of everything over 80,000. 40 over 100 of times, that's 120,000 minus 80,000 gives me 40,000 that I've got to calculate that percentage on. And you can just do this all in your calculator. 18,000 plus 40 over 100 times 40,000, $34,000 tax. I was spot on. So that's how I wouldn't have been surprised if I was a little out, but the graph was accurate, and so we got a pretty accurate answer. In fact, I got spot on. So there, that's how we make a piecewise graph using a tax table.